Parker, member of well-named Australian Green Party. Thank you.
So I will speak in English. My name is Jamie Parker. I'm from the Greens Party here in Australia, and I want to thank every single person for coming out here today. Today, I want to talk to you about the good news, and I want to talk to you about the challenge that we face. First, the good news. The campaign of civil disobedience has been incredibly successful. And I want everyone, let's give a huge round of applause to all of those people, because that campaign we have never seen anything like it in the world. People stopping working, people blocking streets, people saying we will not collaborate with the government. So much so that the central bank issued a statement saying that if people don't go back and open the banks, if they don't go back to work, we're going to have to take some action, they said. And why? Because it's crippling the military. The banks are closed, the shops are closed, the civil servants are closed, the local governments are closed, and this is bringing the military to its knees, and we think it is fantastic and want to encourage everyone to continue. I want to also talk to you a little bit as well about the boycott campaign. The boycott campaign has been incredibly effective. You go to any tea shop in Mandalay or Yangon or anywhere in the country and you ask for Red Ruby cigarettes, and a little boy like this will come to you and say, no brother, don't buy those cigarettes, they're from the military. All over the country, whether it's plastics companies, whether it's cigarettes, whether it's Myanmar beer, they're getting smashed in the street because the military should not be rewarded and people should not buy those products, and we will continue to boycott. And thank you to everyone in Myanmar who's boycotting those products. Give them a huge round of applause. Thank you. I want to talk to you as well about some other successful outcomes that we've had. We know that one of the things the military want to do is fill their pockets full of money from the people, don't they? They want to steal the money from the people and fill their own pockets. Well, even though we want the international community to do more, you'll remember on the 4th, the government tried to take, this is the fake government in Myanmar, the military tried to take $1 billion of US currency in the Federal Reserve in New York, and the American government blocked it. They said, no, you are not getting that money. That should be just the beginning. That should be just the beginning. That $1 billion belongs to the people of Myanmar. It doesn't belong to the generals. And we're going to keep on making sure that happens around the world. And I want to talk to you now. There's some good things that have been happening. The protests in the street, the unity of the people, the solidarity of people working together. But I want to talk to you about our challenges right here in Australia. Our challenges, our government is not doing enough. Our government, the Liberal Party government that runs this country, has essentially done nothing. They've made some statements, but they haven't done as much as Biden has done in US, even though that's not very much. They haven't done as much as the EU. They haven't done as much as the UK. Australia needs to step up and not just say we don't like this coup, but take action, and take action straight away. And I want to ask you what that looks like. People say to me, what does that actually look like? What are we calling on the government to do? I'm going to be asking you all to do something here today. The things that should be happening, number one, the government should be having targeted sanctions against these military leaders. We know of children studying, of the generals, studying at UTS, studying at Macquarie University, and working in Macquarie Centre in Sydney. Those children should have their visas banned and sent back home. Because the generals love having their children here. They're not sending their children to China, they're not sending them to Russia, they send them to Australia and the UK and Europe. Every single one of those family members, you can't have a holiday house here. We will freeze your assets and we'll kick you back to Burma until you restore democracy. So that's the first thing we need to ask the government. Visa ban these people. The second thing is, how can you have a relationship with terrorists? This military is a terrorist military, and Australia should not be having training with these people. Over the years, we've been training the Myanmar military, but they don't listen. They don't listen. They only listen to the money in their pockets. And we need to tell them that Australia should not be dealing with these terrorists who murder children in the street. No more. Australia should stop military ties with Myanmar. The other thing I want to emphasise as well, Australia should be leading the world and leading our region in making sure Australian companies that are there working in that country, they pause their investment in the country, they don't support any more investment, and we wait for those military generals to change, for the people to push them so we can have democracy restored. That's what we need to be asking for. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask each one of you to do three things. And I'll finish on these 3 points. Number one, find your federal member of parliament. Ask your friends, who is the federal member of parliament, and write them a letter and say, we want you to visa ban these children, put sanctions on the generals. We want you to make sure that there's no military ties, and we want Australia to have a strong voice. Number two, what I want you to do is get your friends to do the same. Write to every federal member of parliament that represents your area, and write to the foreign minister and the prime minister. And the last thing I want to ask you to do is, a lot of people are sharing images of the terrible things happening there. And I understand that, but I want you to show your solidarity by sharing those positive images. Share the images of how strong the protesters are. Share the images of how powerful we are. Because the people will win, and your support is critical. Your messages, your social media makes an enormous difference. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you for coming. Thank you for being here today. Your solidarity is so important. Democracy, yes, yay! Democracy, yes, yay! Democracy, yes, yay! Ayabo! Ayabo! Ayabo!
Thank you, Jamie, for such a powerful speech. Thank you. We really appreciate it.